أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا أما بعد فأوصيكم بتقوى الله فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى صلوات. Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, first of all I advise myself for taqwa, parhezgari and piety, and then I advise all of you for the same. In this khutbah of Jumma, I will continue the discussion which we were doing, and that was the theme of Al-Amr bil Ma'roof and An-Nahi Anil Munkar. We had completed our discussion about Al-Amr bil Ma'roof, and we had started the discussion of Nahi Anil Munkar. First of all, a very minor correction, since these are the Arabic words, and the common people who don't know Arabic, when they say these words, they mispronounce the phrases. So it is Amr bil Ma'roof. If we want to say in Urdu or English, Amr bil Ma'roof or Al-Amr bil Ma'roof. So it is Amr, it is not Amr. Sometimes people will say Amr bil Ma'roof. So it is Amr bil Ma'roof, and then it is Nahi Anil Munkar. It is not Munkir. It is Nahi Anil Munkar. So a minor correction, if we can make sure that whenever we say these words, we say these words correctly and very politely, we can correct others when they make any mistake. Now, in Nahi Anil Munkar, a few major munkarat I wanted to discuss. Of course, there are many, but I had a list of some major practices or beliefs which are known as munkar. Meaning these are the things which Shariat, which the Islamic law, Islamic faith discourages them and discredits them. Islam tells us that these beliefs or these practices are not correct, and they are not the right beliefs, or they are not the right practices that one should practice. Last time we discussed about those fictitious and superstitious kind of either beliefs or practices. Khurafat in aqaid, in adab, and in a'mal. So that was our discussion last time we had done, and we said that we should be very careful about our beliefs. Whatever we believe in, we should know that it is a proper Islamic belief. It comes through the authentic resources, either Quran or authentic hadith or those books which we know that those are written and produced by those authentic scholars. And whenever we have any doubt, then we should always check with a senior scholar, with authentic scholar, and with someone that we know that he is careful about these issues. Because there are some scholars of even some very senior level, but when it comes to these issues, they become very kind of easygoing, or they will not really get involved in these in correcting things, because you know when you correct, then people don't like you, and people start kind of making some kind of comments about you, and very many scholars, they don't want to get into the trouble. So they will try to do the right things if they are very good people, but they will not get into correcting others or taking position on issues. But there are some scholars that you know that who are very careful, they are scholarly, they are authentic, and they also don't mind correcting things, and they don't mind if people don't like them or if people abuse them. They don't care about it. They are very committed with their mission and with their job. Matter of fact, we have some references that it was a practice by some very senior personalities in the early history of Islam, that they would come to Imam Ma'soom and they would tell them that I just want to tell you my beliefs, I want to read for you my aqaid, the list of my beliefs, whatever I believe in, and I want you to listen and confirm whether my beliefs are correct or is there any mistake. And similarly, people would go to those imams or people of very high ranking in community as scholars and tell them that I want to make wudu, for example, in front of you, or I want to pray 2 rakat namaz in front of you, or the prayer as I do, or as I say azan, for example, or iqamat, and I want to make sure that you listen to it and see that whether I'm doing right, or if there is any mistake, then please correct that mistake. One of those people that which is known and a very high ranking is the person who is known as Shahzada Abdul Azim, who is buried in Ray, a man of very high ranking from the family of Prophet, from Sadat, from Ahlul Bayt, and companion of at least 4 imams. But he goes and he tells the imam that these are the beliefs which I believe in, and these are the practices which I do, and I want to make sure that I want to tell you, and oh my imam, you listen to it and then tell me whether everything is fine or if I need to make any adjustment or any correction. So people of his level that we go for a ziyarat in Shah Abdul Azim, he doesn't mind going to the imam and narrating all his beliefs and asking him to make sure that whether these are correct or not. And apparently he was older than that imam to whom he was asking to review his aqaid. So it shouldn't be the issue of shame. I don't know what's going on. Anybody has any idea? Ji? Oh, this is a truck outside. Oh, it's maybe for the blood or this blood drive. Ji? Yeah, that's so it's not inside the masjid. So, the point is, we should encourage this in our communities, that people should come to their alim or people that who have more knowledge and make the appointment and tell them that these are our beliefs. And beliefs are, it's not only the list of 5 usul-e-deen, but then the details are involved. About Tawheed, about Risalat, about Adl, about Imamat, about Qiyamat, and life hereafter. And there are a variety, meaning Shafa'at, for example, and Hisab and Kitab, and all these are the beliefs. So these are my understandings, and I want to make sure that my beliefs are correct. Or my a'mal, for example, this is how I call adhan, this is how I call iqamat, this is how I pray, this is how I fast, and this is how I do other things. My understanding of zakat or khums, for example, or hajj, particularly when we are going for hajj or umrah, coming and taking some time to understand the masail of hajj and umrah properly before going for hajj and umrah, making the masail, for example, writing the will, the Islamic will, and as checking with the alim about the rules on that. Or it is highly recommended, Imma have emphasized a lot, if you want to get into business, first learn the masail of business, halal and haram of business, so that you know that you are getting into business, and there will be certain scenarios where the chances are that you will get into the haram, what are those called, transactions. So you need to know that these are the masail of business. So I'm just giving you some examples that this is how, as a practicing individual, a practicing family, a practicing community gets involved with these things. There is no shame in learning. The shame is remaining at jahalat and dying as a jahil, but accepting the fact that I don't know, but I want to learn. So at 1 minute you were jahil, but next minute you are alim. So it's good to turn alim the next minute or next hour or next day. And alim doesn't have to, meaning it doesn't mean that alim is used only for the one who wears the turban or wears this outfit or has gone through all that training. Whatever amount of ilm you learn, you are alim of that amount of ilm. So there are the ulama, or alim has also stages. And alim knows only 10 masalas, alim knows 100 masala, alim knows 1000 masala, and alim knows 1 million masala. But you can be alim of 10 masail, you can be an alim of 100 masail, you can be an alim of 500 masail in different sections. And this was used to be in old history. If we go back, our ulama, there were people in the companions who had knowledge of only about one surah or about one chapter of fiqh, and they have written something, and they were known as someone he has a knowledge of, for example, this chapter of law or this surah, or alim of fiqh or alim of hadith or alim of Quran or alim of something else. So the idea is that everybody should get involved, everybody should look into it, everybody should keep upgrading. And this is a constant job, my brothers and sisters. We all need to keep growing, keep improving, and keep getting better and better. Recite a salawat. No, that was about those aqaid, because we cannot go through all those list of aqaid here in this series of Khutbah Jumma. And so I spoke generally, but I encouraged everyone to look into it and seek the help of ulama who are available to you, and also try to read some of the authentic works to make sure that your aqaid, your beliefs are all, alhamdulillah, correct. And you don't believe in superstitious things and you don't follow those fictitious kind of things. No. And if we see somebody that who is doing that, then it is our duty to do nahi anil munkar. We need to draw the attention of that brother or sister and tell that this is something, maybe at one point I had also thought in that way, but finally I was pointed out that that is not right. And then I checked with, for example, that alim, or I read in that book, and now finally I found out that reality is not like this, but it is like this. So this is how we have to, and we need to be very polite, we need to be very much understanding when we do that nahi anil munkar. Now one thing which also is very common in our communities and in our cultures, and that is sometime people will jump into accusing people for certain things. We live in, of course, in community, and when there are so many people around us and we are living with them, so finally what will happen when you talk about somebody, people will talk and bring like tohmat, accusations. And most of the time those are not well-founded things. Those are assumptions. People assume about somebody doing something. They don't have any evidence. They don't have the first-hand information. He heard from somebody, he heard from somebody, he had heard from somebody. It's just like people all talking, gossip from one to another, and people finally think that this is something that they know it. But if you ask them technically that, do you know personally that this person has done this? And what is your proof? What is your evidence? The person will tell you, no, I never saw that, I never have been there, but I heard from somebody who is very reliable. Now, if you go to check even that reliable person, he will tell you the same thing. He has also heard from somebody. And this is how it goes. So, Islamic duty is that when somebody accuses a mu'min or a mu'mina in front of you, you need to tell the person that, no, you are not supposed to say that, I'm not supposed to listen that. We need to change the subject, we need to talk about something good, something positive, something useful, but we don't want to waste our time in this discussion. It is going to make, it's going to make you sinful, it's going to make me sinful, and my brother or my sister, please let us talk about something else. I'm just telling you in one way, you can say it in your own way. You can you can change the topic, you can show your physical displeasure that you don't like this topic, you are not enjoying it, and or you just change the topic and ask something else, or you can tell the brother or sister that this is not something right, I think we should do better things. So, but that is something we have got duty toward that, and that is nahi anil munkar. We need to tell the person that no, we need to stop this. We should not enjoy that. Unfortunately, even when people tell you the half story and they don't tell you the half story, and they say, I don't know whether I should tell you or not, or it is sin, or it is this, or maybe, but the people encourage them and tell them, no, tell me the whole story. Tell me the whole story, and I'm not going to tell anybody. So you don't have to shy, you know I keep secrets and this will only remain to me and with me, but you tell me the whole thing. So instead of telling this, stop it, and I don't want to listen the whole thing, we will encourage a person to tell me what else. That is negative, and we need to do the nahi anil munkar. Similarly, when we see that someone is suspicious of someone and expresses that in the discussions, and you see that the person is full of suspicion about somebody and thinks that, oh, this person is, for example, doing like this or thinks like that or all those kind of things. Again, we need to discourage that, and the person tell them that we are told, ظُنُّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ خَيْرًا. Always think positive about the believers and don't think negative. Unless you have something, evidence in your hand, maybe the person looks like that, maybe person acts like that, maybe it's perception, this is not the fact. Most of the things are just the perceptions. And tell the person and try to be a peacemaker and tell that no, there is no need for thinking this in this way. Similarly, discourage people if they are kind of what you call curious about knowing the private information of others. There are certain things which are private. It's not my business, it is not your business. We shouldn't get involved into people's privacy. So, privacy is important and we should respect others' privacy, and we shouldn't, if we see someone violating that, we should discourage them and tell them that no, this is their thing and you don't want that anyone violates your privacy, so you shouldn't do also the same thing. We need to tell this even to our young children when we are raising them, that we raise them with proper morals, with proper character, and later on it becomes little difficult. But we need to always keep talking about that and working on that. And of course, we have spoken about it in month of Ramadan and later about the backbiting. Backbiting is a serious sin. It is very dangerous. First of all, it breaks the partnerships, it breaks the relationships, it breaks the friendships and families, and it brings so much harm to the family and to the community. We should discourage it when we see that somebody is doing it. So there are many ways. Politely you can change the topic. You can say, oh, I got to go. I have something to do, and so I'm sorry, I'm leaving, or changing the subject, or defending the person, coming up with some kind of excuse on the person, on behalf of the person who is now here being discussed. But the issue is, when ghibat is being done, we cannot just sit and listen and enjoy. Our duty is nahi anil munkar. We have to do that duty. One thing which is also a munkar, and this is not a behavior of a believer. We have many riwayat on that a mu'min is not known for flattering others. Flattering is tamalluq, khushamad, chaplusi. This is something which is far away from the true character of a believer. A believer is not supposed to be khushamdi kind of person. There are riwayat to extent where I have read a riwayat that somebody comes to flatter you, you put the dirt in his or her mouth. So, meaning the person is trying to raise you up and is doing flattery, but what you need to do is to put dirt in his or her mouth. But that explains the severity of that. We don't have to go that far, but we need to somehow express that you don't enjoy that, you don't like that, you are not that kind of person, that you want people to come and praise you. The praise is something else. There is a difference between praise, giving someone's credit for doing something good, appreciating someone, acknowledging someone for something good. That is not flattery, and those things are recommended. Expressing your love for someone, expressing your admiration for someone, expressing your respect for someone, acknowledging someone's favor or somebody's mastery in something, giving them the due credit, these are all positive things and those are encouraged. But things should remain in what you call in the facts. It should be fact. It should be to the level where it is, meaning it remains the fact. No, when we exaggerate on them, then it gets into the area of flattering. So we don't have to exaggerate. We don't have to make it up. Or if someone doesn't have any mastery in that skill and still praising that, oh, you are the best and I have never heard anybody like you, while you know that the person doesn't have even ABC of that. So this is flattering and this is munkar. And a mu'min shouldn't do that. A mu'min is not supposed to be a flattering person for others and shouldn't accept the flattery for himself or herself also. And I discussed the exaggeration also with it. Exaggeration is also highly forbidden. Exaggeration in any area, whether it is belief, whether it is practice, whether it is anything. Exaggeration is a negative thing. It doesn't have any good benefits. And lying, the third thing is the dhurub, the kidhb, the lying. Lying is one of the major sins as ghibat, and it is something which is not right. No, when people lie and we only listen them and we don't correct them, then finally what happens? They feel even more and more encouraged and they continue lying, and then they go and lie to everyone, and back they will come to you and they will do the same thing. But if some people can tell them that, brother, what you are saying is not right. I know the person, or I know this thing, I have the first-hand information about it, and this is not as you are telling. So if the person gets corrected by a few people here and there, he will stop or she will stop, and they will learn that it doesn't work. People know about it, and there are people who can tell you that no, it is not right. These are the things which most of us, my brothers and sisters, since we don't do, that is why we are in this kind of mess. That we every day have to hear so many lies, so much ghibat, so much accusation, so much exaggeration, so much flattering, so much all this. This is all negative, junk. And we have to deal with it on daily basis just because the culture is passive. The people let it happen. And since we let it happen, so it is happening and it is happening and it is happening, and then it happens more and more. So we become sinful, the other people become sinful, and so many people, their personal honor, their dignity, their private life, their everything is also becomes more and more and more vulnerable because this trend is accepted. So these are a few things I thought I should point out. First, the things which we are about individuals. I will talk about certain munkarat which we do as families or we do as communities at the bigger level. So inshallah those discussions will come later. For today, that was this was it which I wanted to share with you. I hope it will work, it will help. It needs commitment. It needs a commitment that all of us, we make the commitment and we try to improve in these areas. Again, there is no need to be rude, there is no need to be rough, there is no need to be too harsh. We can do these things very skillfully, we can do these things very politely, and we can do these things very tactfully, where we are correcting ourselves and others, but without creating any big kind of problem in the relations, or without hurting the feelings of other people or going to any extremes. Recite salawat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة الزهراء وعلى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وعلى علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان وعلى آبائه الكرام ما اتصل الليالي والأيام. أما بعد فقال الله تبارك وتعالى توبوا إلى الله توبة نصوحا عسى ربكم أن يكفر عن سيئاتكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار. وقال الله تبارك وتعالى أيضا إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر.